Definitely more to watch on that one, Tom. Thank you. And for more on today's historic launch, let's bring in our panel of space experts. We have retired NASA astronaut and the author of Chasing Space, Leland Melvin, Paul Sutter, a professor at the Institute for Advanced Computational Science at Stony Brook University and the Flatiron Institute in New York City, and NASA astronaut and former commander of the International Space Station, Leroy Chiao. Good morning to all of you. Thanks for being here. And Leroy, we'll start with you. This is a huge moment for NASA and the result of more than a decade of planning. What does success look like here, and what do they want to prove in this first mission?
Well, of course, success would be, first of all, lifting off, if not today, then hopefully during one of the other launch windows, and then successfully putting the Orion spacecraft into lunar orbit and having it go through its paces and checkouts of systems and other items, and then having it, of course, come back successfully with the heat shield protecting the spacecraft through the entry into the Earth's atmosphere and culminating with a parachute landing in the water. So hopefully all that's going to go well. We're all kind of trying to keep up with what's going on this morning, and we're hoping to see a launch.
Yes, definitely hoping. That is what we're hoping for. And Paul, the goal eventually to return to the moon's surface and someday establish a lunar base. So exciting. Why is that important?
The moon is a time capsule into the ancient history of our solar system. That surface that you look at when you see the moon in the evening, that is billions of years old. We cannot access that on the surface of the Earth because the surface of the Earth is constantly changing itself over. So if we want to understand the history of the evolution of our solar system and the Earth itself, we have to go to the moon. We have to dig around. We have to get our hands dirty.
Yeah, so excited for that to actually happen. You made me excited just hearing about that. Leland, in recent years, we've also seen the growth of the commercial spaceflight industry. We can't ignore that. Companies like SpaceX routinely carrying cargo and astronauts to the International Space Station. So how does that change NASA's vision and how it uses its resources?
You know, Stephen, thanks for having me on this morning. I think it changes the vision because everyone's trying to get to this endpoint of living on another planet. I mean, Elon Musk is trying to get to Mars. He's trying to go straight to Mars versus going to the moon. But he is going to help build a lander for us living on the moon to get down to the moon. I think, the more people in the commercial sector that are doing this exploration, the more people that will look up and think that there's a reason why we need to explore, as well as to help look back and save our own planet, help our own planet with climate change and so forth. So the more exploration we do, the better off it is, and the more people that are doing it, it's even greater.
And Leroy, the Apollo missions got so many people interested in space and inspired many young people to pursue careers in engineering and science. So what could a successful Artemis program mean for the next generation of space explorers?
Well, you're absolutely right. It was the Apollo 11 moon landing. I was an 8-year-old kid watching that live. That's what inspired me and started that dream of wanting to become an astronaut myself. And so I think Artemis is going to do similar things for this generation, this young generation coming up. Of course, we've been operating in space since then with Space Shuttle and Space Station. And of course, those went and are going well. But in a way, we're a little bit victims of our own success in that it has kind of become routine to the general public. And so while there are still kids excited about space exploration and the station, I think a new program specifically to go to the moon and then hopefully on to Mars in the future will be just as inspirational as the Apollo program was to us.
And I love in Greek mythology, Artemis is the twin sister of Apollo. So meaningful that this program is called Artemis. And Paul, the rocket that NASA hopes to use today is considered or called the most powerful ever built. Tell us about that. What is the significance?
Yeah, this rocket, we haven't had a rocket capable of delivering a crew to the moon or beyond in almost 50 years. I've lived my entire life without the capability of going to the moon. And now Artemis is the key that unlocks the outer space, the outer solar system for us, for humanity. This isn't just about going to the moon and visiting for a couple days and then coming back. This is about building a sustainable presence on the lunar surface, around lunar space, and then hopefully Mars. This is how we do it. This is the first step. This is the building block of reaching out beyond Earth orbit.
An important step tomorrow. I love the sound of that. Leland, the Apollo missions that we were talking about were in part a competition with the Soviet Union to be the first on the moon. That sort of started things moving more quickly for the space race. This time seems more against China. What message does the Artemis program send to the world at large, and how important is it for the U.S. to win?
Well, I don't look at it as winning and losing. I look at it as getting people inspired about looking up and seeing what's possible when you explore as humanity. And so whether we get there first and we are going to probably get there first, but, if the Chinese get there, that's great too, because I think all kids, no matter what zip code you're in, no matter where you are, need to be inspired by what we do in space as humanity. When I was on the International Space Station, an African-American, Asian-American, French, German, Russian, the first female commander, breaking bread at 17,500 miles per hour, going around the planet every 90 minutes, looking at our respective hometowns, working together as a team. And I think that's the beauty of space travel, is we all do this as a humanity.
An inspiring message to end this segment. Leroy Chow, Paul Sutter, and Leland Melvin. Thank you all, and stand by. We're going to check back in more on this flight situation, or this launch situation, coming up.